Today we're looking at reasons Virginia ain't for everyone. This is a state that is deep in history, blessed with beautiful landscapes, and has a law that makes it illegal to tickle women. Not even kidding. You've heard the slogan, Virginia is for lovers. Maybe it is for lovers, but it ain't for everyone. Buckle up as we explore 10 reasons why you might want to think twice before packing your bags and moving to Old Dominion. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, weather whiplash. 1 minute it's sunny, the next it's pouring rain, and by evening you might get some snowflakes. Virginia's weather is like a reality show, unpredictable and dramatic. If you enjoy consistency in your wardrobe choices, Virginia's bipolar climate might drive you a little bit nuts. Next thing you know, you're tickling a woman, being arrested for it too. Now a lot goes into the weather in Virginia and why it is the way it is. It's right on the Chesapeake Bay and right off the Atlantic Ocean, which can get cold, and it does change the weather patterns. The western back half of the state is covered by the Appalachian Mountains, which helps keep the weather a little bit weird. Number 9, historic overload. Sure, history is fascinating, but Virginia takes it to a whole new level. Every other building is a museum, a battlefield, or a historic landmark. If you're not a history buff, you might find yourself running out of polite ways to say, oh look, there's another old house. Now, this isn't really a problem. Who hates history? I mean, a lot of people don't like learning about it. That's just not their thing. But the amount of history and the amount of buildings and battlegrounds they have in Virginia leads to a lot of tourists, and if you're a local, sometimes tourists can get in the way. I've said before, I grew up in a touristy town, a beach community, and during the summer, it got to be a little bit much. Besides all the history stuff, they got a lot of haunted houses. Virginia's rich history comes with a side of ghost stories. Many old homes and inns are rumored to be haunted. If you're easily spooked, living in Virginia might feel like an extended stay at a haunted attraction. Number 8, the creepy crawlies. Virginia has bugs, big bugs that could carry away small pets. If you're not a fan of creepy crawlies, the state's insect population might make you feel like you're living in a horror movie. Go back to the haunted houses we just talked about. Besides all the bugs and insects, you have wildlife encounters, from deer on the highways to bears in the backyard. Virginia's wildlife can be a bit too friendly. Nothing like going out to get in your hot tub in the middle of the night and you find out there's a bear relaxing in there as well. Now, obviously, animal encounters are very, very rare, but they do happen in Virginia because a lot of this state is rural and wooded and mountainous. The biggest problem, though, with the wildlife in Virginia is the deer on the road. They run into your cars, or you run into them, however you want to look at it. They had over 6,100 collisions involving deer in Virginia last year alone, 2023. One other side note to that, if you're not into hunting, Virginia may not be for you. They do a lot of hunting in that state. It's a big thing for them. Number 7, allergies. Virginia is one of the worst states when it comes to allergies. Let's start with Richmond, the sneezing capital of Virginia. This city is like the Olympics for allergies, ranked as one of the worst places in the US for seasonal allergies. Richmond offers an extended summer just to ensure your allergies get the time they deserve to ruin your life. And if you thought you could escape it by moving to another part of the state, think again. The central region of Virginia likes to spice things up with a generous sprinkle of rainfall. This makes it a mold allergy nightmare. Imagine walking through a minefield of mold spores. Good times in Virginia. Kind of touched on weather earlier, but I don't think a lot of people understand how humid Virginia gets in the summer. This is all part of the whole allergy thing too. People that have never experienced the southern states, they just think you're going to get the humid weather in places like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. No, it goes all the way up into Tennessee and North Carolina and into Virginia. So it gets hot and it gets humid. Number 6, college rivalries. Virginia is home to numerous colleges, each with fiercely loyal alumni. Virginia versus Virginia Tech is a rivalry that can divide families. If you accidentally wear the wrong colors, prepare for some serious side-eye at the local grocery store. Now, is this a reason that should stop you from moving there? No, it's just something you should be made aware of. It is a big deal to them, a lot of them. I was kind of amazed here when I moved to Oregon because you got Oregon State and you got University of Oregon. I have an orange car like Oregon State's color. It's because I'm a Browns fan. I've gotten the finger in traffic. And they always have a license plate frame or a sticker that says the University of Oregon. Is it a big deal? No. Is it going to stop people from moving there? No. But you should know about it, just so you're not caught off guard. But they do have some pretty good universities, aside from the sports thing. You've got, like I said, the University of Virginia, the College of William and Mary, Virginia Tech, George Mason University, James Madison University, Virginia Commonwealth University, the University of Virginia, Washington and Lee University, VMI is here, Virginia Military Academy. They got Old Dominion. It's not just the nickname of the state, it's actually one of their universities. But yeah, the big rivalry is going to be Virginia Tech. Number 5, driving. The first part about this is Virginia's known for having some of the worst drivers in the country. They're actually ranked number 5. Then they got their country roads. John Denver loved them, but not everyone shares his sentiment. Virginia's winding, narrow roads can make a simple trip to the store feel like a roller coaster ride. If you get motion sickness, stock up on Dramamine in Virginia. Now, traffic trauma. Northern Virginia's traffic is a stuff of nightmares. This is up there by the Washington, D.C. area, and it is ugly. I've been in their traffic a few times. You could leave work on a Monday and get home on a Wednesday. It's not that bad, but someone told me that once and it caught me off guard and I got a good chuckle out of it. He also told me it's the type of traffic where you can contemplate the meaning of life 1 inch at a time, because that's how fast you're going. But this one, when you're talking about the bad traffic, you know, they do have it down by Virginia Beach and Norfolk and all that, but majority of it's going to be in Northern Virginia, up there near the Washington, D.C., where all the people that flood into D.C. for a day's work, well, they're coming back in between 3 and 5 o'clock in the evening, and traffic is horrible. Number 4, real estate. Regarded as the nation's birthplace, Virginia is full of national history, arts, and natural beauty like I talked about earlier. It's also home to some very expensive neighborhoods. A majority of those are going to be up there in that Northern Virginia area. Again, you got a lot of people working for Washington, D.C. They can afford some very expensive chunks of property. As an example, Arlington, Virginia, their average is $544,000. That's about $100,000 higher than the national average. But if you get down to Richmond, that's about, right around the average. They're $358,000. But if you go down to Norfolk, it's down to $297,000. So a little bit lower than average. So it's a mixed bag. I think a lot of people, see Virginia as a southern state and they just imagine it's going to be Mississippi cheap or West Virginia, maybe even Tennessee cheap. No, it's not that cheap. But it can be depending on what city you move to or what area. If you look at the northern part of Virginia up near Washington, D.C., it's the Washington, D.C., Arlington metro area type thing, you're going to find neighborhoods where $1 million is the lowest you're going to find a house. And it can go up. So it depends on which side of the financial street you're living on right now. This could be a good place to buy a house or it's way too expensive. So if you're coming from San Francisco, New York City, or Los Angeles, and you see the prices here, these are kind of reasonable. But if you think since it's a southern state and it's going to have extremely low real estate like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, you're going to be in for some sticker shock. Number 3, Southern charm. Now, Southern charm is a good thing. Southern hospitality, great. Virginians are polite, extremely polite, sometimes to the point where you're questioning if they're being sarcastic or not. Chances are, if you've done something stupid, they probably are being sarcastic. Now, the people that might have a problem with this are the people that will come from maybe New England, New York City, New Jersey, Pennsylvania even. These are people that are used to a more straightforward communication style. The excessive niceness might make you a little suspicious of what's going on. I've seen that firsthand. Be too nice to someone from New Jersey and they think you're trying to con them out of something. Along with that Southern charm, you're also going to find that Southern accent. Again, since it's a Virginian, it's kind of up there. A lot of people that don't know much about the Southern states assume they're not going to have that Southern accent. They do. Virginia's accent can be charming, but it can also be perplexing. You might find yourself nodding along, pretending you understand what someone just said. If you struggle with their accent, you might feel like you need a translator in some parts of this state. Number 2, beaches, festivals, and wine snobs. Virginia loves a good festival and a good drink, and there's one for every occasion. Beer, wine, oysters, apples, strawberries, you name it, they got a festival for it. If you're not into large crowds and endless booths of crafts and food, the festival season might be a little bit overwhelming for you. And that kind of feeling goes on to their beaches. Virginia Beach is popular. It's almost like a festival every time you go there, during the summer at least. And that's something you should know about before you move here. It gets terribly crowded in Virginia Beach, and that's one of their go-to beaches. So if your idea of a beach getaway involves peace and quiet, you might find yourself longing for a more serene seaside town. Then you got your wine snobs. Virginia is proud of its wineries, and rightfully so. Virginia is no slouch when it comes to wine. But this is Virginia, and they are snobbish about it. I mean, if you're not prepared to discuss the subtle notes of oak and blackberry in your glass, you might feel out of your depth here. The festivals are crowded, the beaches are crowded, and the people that drink wine tend to be snobs in my experience, and a lot of people's experience. I read many things online about this, so it wasn't just me. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called The Sweet Life for Briggs. We make videos about cruises we go on and where we stay when we are on the road. There's a link for that down below. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, political overload. With Washington, D.C. next door, Virginia is politically charged. Every coffee shop conversation could turn into a debate. If you prefer morning caffeine without a side of political discourse, Virginia might test your patience. In a lot of ways, this state is very proud of their Confederate history, and there's a little bit of friction with certain groups wanting to take down Confederate statues and monuments and rename parks, things like that. Well, it all came to a boil in Charlottesville a few years back, and it was ugly. Go any place in Virginia and you're going to find streets, roads, parks, all named after either our founding fathers or Confederate generals or Civil War heroes. A lot of people want that stuff changed, and this has angered a lot of the locals and a lot of the people that want to hold on to their, I guess you could say, culture, their heritage, their history, whatever. Politics are strong. Politics are a problem in Virginia. Keep that in mind. If that's not your thing, Virginia might not be for you. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're probably going to enjoy one of the 2 videos being suggested right now. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.